Sometimes you just want to give Fitz a good old hug. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always guys, I'm Andrew, and today I've got another book review for you. But before we get into that book review, make sure you're liking and subscribing and hitting that bell notification so you can get regular updates for when I put out new content. Plus every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that said guys, this is gonna be Fool's Errand, which is book 7 in the Realm of the Elderlings. Now, I'm gonna keep everything that I read here mostly non-spoiler. However, because it's book 7 and the third trilogy in the Realm of the Elderlings, we are going to have to talk about Liveship Traders and Farseer. So if you haven't read those, do yourself a favor and at least give them a shot. Robin Hobb has quickly become one of the best authors that I have never read before. I can't believe I have waited till my 30s to discover her works, and frankly, that's just lost time in my opinion. But that said, guys, I absolutely love this book. I'm going to give you my rating right up front. It is a 5 out of 5. This book was phenomenal. But let's talk about why. So, like I said, this is book 7 in the Realm of the Elderlings and book 1 of the Tawny Man trilogy. Now, the way the Realm of the Elderlings goes, you got Farseer, which is Fitz's story from all the way up until his early 20s. Then you leave Fitz and you go to the Liveship Traders. And you want to do yourself a favor here, in my opinion, and read this all together in publication order. I know a lot of people say, well, you don't really need Farseer. But yeah, you kind of do, because if you just read Liveship Traders and then move on to Tawny Man, you're not going to understand Fitz's pain or his trauma or why he is the way he is. And if you skip Liveship Traders and just go from Farseer straight to Tawny Man, you're going to miss a couple key things. Alright, editing Andrew here. I am about to just blast a major Liveship Trader spoiler, so I just want to make sure that you have a chance to check the timestamps down below and skip ahead past that spoiler if you don't want to hear it. It's not like life-shattering, but it kind of takes the mystery out of a little bit of the Liveship Traders on who a certain character might be. So I'm going to go ahead and have a timestamp so you can go ahead and jump through. I'll wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's go. Specifically, the Fool makes a return here, but in the Liveship Traders, if you didn't catch it, he went under the name of Amber. That is a huge spoiler, but Amber is the Fool. And so the reoccurring character in these 3 trilogies so far has been the Fool, and he kind of ties it all together really well. There's some not so subtle Easter eggs in this book, and it is hilarious and funny because a character from the Liveship Traders, his name has been given to a horse, and it's hilarious. But that said, basically we are picking up 15 years after the end of Farseer, and Fitz has grown into a older, more mature individual. And he is living with Hap, which Hap is the little boy that Starling gave him right at the end of Assassin's Quest. And he's kind of raised him as kind of a surrogate son almost, since he can't have his baby. And I believe Nettle is Fitz's daughter? I think that's right. Anyway, that's not important. But basically, he kind of retired. He retired from the political life. He let everybody believe that Fitz Chivalry Farseer was dead. And so he went and retired to raise chickens and do whatnot. And he's basically just sitting out there with Night Eyes and Hap, going about day to day. And then all of a sudden he realizes, oh God, 15 years has gone by, and I haven't put any money back for Hap to make a life for himself, to be apprenticed to anybody, to pursue a craft. I've literally just set him up to live my lifestyle. And so Fitz starts scrambling here. And he starts trying to scrape together some money for an apprenticeship for Hap. And it's not going very well. But while this is happening, he starts getting visitors from his previous life. Shade shows up. Starling shows up. And then the Fool shows up in rather rapid succession. Like, don't get me wrong. Starling has been his lover for the last, I think, 9 years. Like, when she rediscovered the cabin, they started this relationship. And it's just one thing after another. All of a sudden, Fitz starts getting all of these reminders of his old life. He hasn't seen Shade in 15 years since he was left for dead, basically. And yeah, it's so emotional. And the tone of this book isn't, I think, quite as depressing as the other 6 books in the realm of the Elderlings. However, that said, this book did make me cry. I felt all the feels. I felt everything that I ever wanted to with this book. And that's because, essentially, we know that in order for a story to be told, Fitz has to get pulled back into his old life. And he is called back into active service. Basically, he's got to go find the prince. The prince has gone missing, and Fitz is called back to active service. As Tom Badgerlock, he has left Fitz in the grave, and he has reemerged into Buckkeep as Tom Badgerlock, the servant to Lord Golden. And from there, we've just kind of going through all these trials and tribulations and dealing with the relationship of Night Eyes and Fitz as they both have gotten older and more mature, and just really kind of reestablishing this relationship between Fitz and the Fool, and just all of these important, heartfelt moments. And one of my critiques that I usually talk about in pacing is the pacing of the books that I'm reading. And here, it was like, 250 pages, and we're still at Fitz's cabin. And I didn't care. This book was so beautifully written, and it was so fun coming back and spending time with Fitz and kind of catching up with him on his day-to-day life, that I just honestly didn't care that we weren't moving particularly quickly towards the goals in this story. I mean, once we get there, it starts happening rather rapidly. But structurally and pacing-wise, it is just so beautifully written, and such care is given to the story. And basically, it is just enriching Tawny Man to deal with, the events of Liveship Traders, which was this highly acclaimed trilogy, and Farseer, which kicked it all off. Which I love Farseer. I mean, I actually liked Farseer more than Liveship Traders, but that's not neither here nor there, because if this keeps going the way I think it's going to, Tawny Man's going to be a new lifelong favorite. I loved Tawny Man here. I keep wanting to say Farseer because it's Fitz, but man, this book was it was an absolute delight. I actually hybrid read this. It's got a fantastic narrator as well, so you can look forward to that if you choose to consume Fool's Errand via audio. But, I mean, just the way that this book ties in those two trilogies by bringing in the Fool, and basically his Amber persona was very wealthy at the end of the Liveship Traders, so now he has reemerged into Buckkeep as a lord, which is just awesome, because we get glimpses of the Fool, but at the same time, he hasn't re-entered the court as the Jester. He is a lord now. He is this mysterious lord who kind of came out of nowhere, and he's incredibly wealthy. And nobody's put 2 and 2 together. And in order to reintegrate into Buckkeep, he chooses to be the master of Tom Badgerlock, which is, of course, Fitz. And it's so great to kind of get these reunions, forge these new relationships, and really tackle some important issues. Because one of my main complaints from the Farseer trilogy was that we really didn't get a whole lot of explanation into the magic system. It felt very soft. It didn't really go in deep to it. And now, because all the skill users were pretty much dead by the end of Farseer, so Fitz is kind of the lone skill user, and so he hasn't really been practicing it, but, Shade comes in very early in the book and asks Fitz to come back to train Prince Dutiful in the skill, which, of course, Fitz doesn't want to. And it's so interesting to get the dynamics of the witted folk as well. This dives in heavily into the old blood. Basically, there's a side companion novel that I still need to read called The Piebald Prince. And it's like this little novella, but it's supposed to, like, there is an old fable that the Farseers are descended or related to the Piebald Prince, who was a witted king and got, like, killed. And so, like, you know, people all of a sudden, after the ending of the Out Island Raiders and the Forging, they kind of got their bloodlust up because Regal started all these blood sports and these Colosseum-style killings of the witted folk, trying to find Fitz back in Farseer, and that bloodlust kind of got ingrained in the people. Like, they didn't like the witted people to begin with, but now they actively go out of their way to basically lynch them. And so the witted people are angry. And so there is a faction of the Old Bloods called the Piebalds who want to do something about this. And this just kind of goes into a stirring pot of just intrigue and emotion and just all around just gut punches, one after the other. There are just so many great moments in this book. I already have done my spoiler discussion in the live show over on Megan's Reading Revelations. I will go ahead and link that up in the cards right now if you want my full spoiler thoughts. But that said, guys, I mean, this is Fool's Errand, book 1 in the Tawny Man. Fantastic book. I mean, I cannot wait to get to, I think it's Fool's Gold is the second book. I could have that wrong. No, it's The Golden Fool. That was close. But yes, I am excited for that. Please let me know in the comments down below what you think of The Realm of the Elderlings. Did you love Tawny Man as much as I have loved Fool's Errand? Am I in for this wild ride? Please let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to talk on a more regular basis, make sure to check the description down below for the link to the Wizardly Duo Discord. We would love to have you. So, till next time, guys. Peace out. Stay magical. Bye.